Okay. As always, want to welcome folks wherever they are. Kind of the ground rules is normally there are no directors or staff here except Sharon Lamar, our city clerk, to take notes, and Mr. McCauley, our HR director, who will handle signing any directed movements. The directors are not here because this is an unofficial council meeting. It's an informal listening opportunity for council to hear matters of interest from citizens or concerns on non-agenda items. So we won't be voting or solving anything tonight. We will be taking no action. We're really just going to be listening for information at this point. So if I see we have a couple folks in the audience, if you are interested in talking to us, then I'd ask you to step forward and give Mr. McCall, let him know. Come on.
Steve Donahue. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First thing I have is a question. I could not make it to the public hearing. I had a family member in the hospital and had to take care of it. Is it okay if I talk about the budget here? There's no one else waiting, so.
No, sir, I know it's not, but we will have opportunity tonight for you to do that.
I just thought you're going to limit the time there tonight, right, or not? I thought here.
Yeah, but this is not designed to.
You don't want that?
The same situation with these with this. We limit it as far as somebody not taking the whole 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. So
Okay.
it's more getting us information or questions that we can get back to you about. So I want to hear everything you have to say, and as well, you don't know, but as Fred would tell you is I think I'm very open in very not being real restrict on the 5 minutes. So you will have time if you've got some things to present tonight to talk about, but this isn't, I'm not changing our format. This is strictly for non-agenda items.
A non-agenda.
Kind of like your situation you brought up about your issue with your on Sunday with the noise issue.
Yeah, how are we doing on that?
Well, that's great. That is, we are going to have a planning session on the noise ordinance, and when we get to that point, you have that. So
All right.
that's strictly what that's for. So
Okay.
But
I'll
I promise you'll have opportunity.
I'll hold my thunder till when.
That'd be great if you
Okay.
don't mind.
All right, that's
I'm
fine.
just-
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. But on the noise, so I'll give you the benefit of my research. I did a lot of research on noise
I'd be
ordinance.
fine with that.
And you're going to find that most of the ordinances have been adopted out in California.
Okay.
And as you research it, for what it's worth, because I did, you get into noise ordinances, next thing I saw, 20 pages, decibel levels, and next thing you have a noise ordinance enforcement officer.
That's really
I
bad.
wouldn't want anything to do with that. And the more I thought about it, I think what's in the ordinance now is activity-based, and that's easy to control. So, like you have like no construction on like weekends. Those are easy things to control. What I was asking for at the time, just to revisit it a little bit, is most of the landscape contractors who come out here and they roam the neighborhoods. In my neighborhood, some guy thinks it's convenient to come on Sunday morning. And I'd like to, before I die, I'd like one day in my week where I don't hear a blankety-blank leaf blower blowing at 120 decibels across the, I'd like to go out on my back deck and whatever, and not have that. And like I said, I tried it on my own, weren't interested, didn't care.
Right.
This is convenient for me. Okay, enough said about that.
Now I'm with you on that. Thank you.
Okay, and I had one other, since I can't talk about the budget.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to
I-
you. I'm looking for
Mayor, is anybody working on some sort of chart or I handed out this thing about Project Jackson. And there were about $550,000 short what the original plan was. And I was interested in how we made up the difference in those funds. And my fear or concern was that sucking sound you hear where we have to pay those bonds, so it sucks monies away. Are we gonna, is there anybody working on that, or,
Yeah, well,
or
a couple
not?
things. What we are giving out now is the information that actually, and I asked that question, and so Emma, which is the municipal regulation, controls a lot of that information. And the city prior administration was able to get our council to approve the information that we do put out, those disclosure, that the 12, what is it, 2017B, the disclosure that you talked about. So at this point, but what I think where the disconnect is, and I believe from talking to Ms. Hayes, our finance person, everything you're getting off of that disclosure is off a model that this city approved, meaning the model. And right now, so the bottom, right now we have 2 months, we have 2 payments in the bank, okay? So what I would like to do at some point is re-look at that in a way to where we can present it a way that's better than that model. Because this model is something that was approved back in the very beginning.
Right.
And right now, it's real evident that we don't have a lot of parking revenue. So it's gonna continue to show.
And that may change,
yeah.
that may change.
Yeah.
It may
So,
come around.
so to answer your question, that's based off a model, and yes, we have the ability, I believe, to re-look at how we can present it in a more current form. I don't know what that looks like, so don't take that beyond what I'm telling you, except that's why it will continue until we change this model. It's going to continue to look that way. Okay, so this is not, I would tell you, this doesn't give you the full picture, because it shows a shortfall, and the reality is we don't have a shortfall.
Okay, that's fine. I've,
That help?
I've downloaded Emma,
I
and
know.
I've looked at Emma,
So,
and I view it as a financial health report card. It basically says,
Yes.
here's the value of the real property, here's how much tax we can generate, here's our tax capacity allowed to vote, blah, 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 blah. I have looked at that. I don't think it's very revealing as to where do we get the money to pay for those bonds? We had a shortfall here. Where does that come from? All right, without further ado, I'll sit down
okay.
and I'll wait till the council meeting.
Okay, good.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank
All right.
you. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it be fair to be able to make a statement that currently there's any shortfalls that we have are not coming from property taxes or anything like that? It's coming from items within the financial model
Absolutely.
that
And
is paying
that's been
for it.
mentioned, yes.
So it's a true statement that's saying the project is paying. And it's-
Absolutely, just that this, yes, it is, but the models doesn't,
And-
that's really a better question. I don't want to get
I
in
mean,
trouble.
it's a
with
fair
county
statement to
games.
say it's not coming from another revenue stream besides what's listed on there.
The TIF, the A tax, the H tax,
Parking
the
and so forth.
parking, and the fifth one.
Accommodation tax.
Yeah, so those are the avenues that's generated, absolutely.
And we are not at the point where we have to try to get shortfall money from another source.
Right now, we're 2 payments in the bank.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to clear that up in my layman terms, that's all.
But I do think it does make sense that for us, and and I've had this conversation, so I think there will come a time when we can look at maybe adjusting this, since this, even though it's the sources, we got parts of the model that aren't realistic,
I agree.
you know?
I
So we're
agree.
still using a model that no matter how good it looks, it's gonna be negative because of certain aspects of it.
Yes, I agree.
So I think we can do that, and that's the best I can tell you, is I'm aware of it, I'm on your page, and I've talked to Cammie about that, and that's something I would hope can proceed with at some point. There's no guarantee, but I just want to make you clear of that. You good? Okay, I thought, sure. Yes, thank you, Mr. McKee. You just like to come early, okay. Okay. I'm sorry, Cliff Notes version. I'm sorry, I had my microphone on. Wes understands it. Cliff Notes version, as well as our Meet the Mayor event. So when myself and 2 council members, we have hit certain neighborhoods, and we highlight when that is. And of course, the citizen involvement form. So we are getting a lot of response from folks who say, hey, I want to be involved. We don't necessarily know where they need to be, but they can submit a form and say, hey, I'm interested in whatever. And then what I'm doing is we're keeping a file of that, and just like our river event that we're going to be having, those 3 folks who got chosen to be on that were 3 folks who said, hey, we want to get involved, we love the water, and we think we can add value to this committee, so they're involved with that. So that's going to be an opportunity. We're getting a lot of response from folks of all ages who say, hey, I want to help. So we're building a list, so when things come up, situations, we now have an inventory of people who say, hey, let's reach out to this person and see if they're interested. Okay? So some good stuff. Trust me, it's easy to navigate. You have to go through the whole site, just go straight to that page.
Something I'm not accustomed to doing. Let me applaud you for making a record.
Make sure your microphone's on.
Yeah. Let me applaud the mayor and anybody else in the city council
really
helped in
council.
this endeavor.
This is a council. This
That
is a council.
You
It's a new council.
publish questions and answers. As I remember in a prior administration that they didn't even make it into the minutes or what they did about it or whatever. So I applaud you for that. That's nice. And now we'll go look at that. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
That doesn't mean you're going to get 30 minutes to talk at the meeting, okay? But we appreciate it.
I'll keep trying.
We know where to find you. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it up about 10 more minutes, and then occasionally we had I think our second one, we had somebody walk in the last 10 minutes, and we wanted to give her an opportunity. So, remember the lady came the very first one, she came last 20 minutes. So, keep it up the next 10 minutes and just. I didn't have my microphone on the whole time I was talking. What happened? Huh? No, they're off today. They're traveling back to Los Angeles. Ricky? All right, this is, it's been 30 minutes, we're gonna call it. Good evening. I'd like to call the November 1st, 2021 City of North Augusta regular city council meeting to order. At this point, we'll move to item 2. You are welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, I ask for discernment for this council. I ask that we have a servant heart as we do the work of the city. I ask that we are purposeful in our actions, that we listen to our citizens and each other, and that we strive to honor you in our decisions. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move to our roll call. If you will state your name, starting from my left.
Eric Presnell.
David McGee.
Pat Carpenter.
Britton Williams.
Bob Brooks.
Jennifer McCauley.
Kevin Toole.
Okay. Are there any deletions, corrections, or additions to the regular city council meeting minutes of October the 18th, 2021, or the study session minutes of October the 25th, 2021? If not, they stand as distributed. Okay, we'll move into unfinished business. Ordinance number 2021-17. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance for second reading? First, Mr. Presnell. Second, Ms. Carpenter. Anything you'd like to share about this, Ms. Clifford?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So the next 3 items on the agenda under unfinished business, ordinances number 2021-17, -18, and -19 are all linked. These have to do with the budget for fiscal year 2022. We've done this in study session and also for a first reading. But again, the highlights for our budget for this coming fiscal year involves cost of living increase for our city employees. It involves the addition of 3 FTEs, full-time equivalents for our city staff. It gives us some project space for adding LED lighting for downtown. And it also adds additional millage to the capital projects fund, which, if you recall from our bond attorneys and bond advisors presentation we had earlier in the year, recommended that we put additional funding into the capital projects fund for our overall bond ratings and health, and that budget that was before you for fiscal year 22 seeks to accomplish just that. So I think it's something we've discussed multiple times, and so this is our final reading here for this budget, along with the fact that we have to have a separate ordinance, which you'll discuss next, which is the levying the annual tax. Again, that has to be a separate item from the budget itself, as does the sanitation service fees, which has a slight increase, but not much for residents, both on the residential and the commercial side. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for the city staff on that item, subject to yours or the council's questions.
Okay, great. At this point, I would open up for any citizen comments on this specific ordinance. Come on down. And let me just say, come on in, while you're reading, talk, come on, while you're walking down, I'll talk. Let me just say how much we appreciate the public being here. It's great to see citizens that care. The one change you will notice for folks who have not been with us before is you don't see a giant clock up here. I've asked Sharon Lamar, city clerk, to keep the time for me. The goal is to stay within the 5 minutes, but over the last 5 months, I think folks realize I will be flexible as long as we don't get out of control. I've always said that please, if you hear someone ask a question about one topic, please don't repeat it. We want information that will help us make a decision. And with that being said, I will be flexible, and so hopefully we can make this work. So if you don't mind, sir, state your name, address for the record.
All right, I'm Steve Donahue, and I live at 316 East Shoreline Drive, North Augusta. I want the record to reflect I tried to come here in the informal session so I wouldn't take up so much time as city council because I was aware of the 5-minute. And also apologize because I couldn't make it to the public hearing. I had a family medical issue and I couldn't make it. So had I been here at the public hearing, this is some of the stuff I wanted to bring up. I'll try to move quickly through it. The first thing I'd like to focus on is the letter from the administrator, Roman numeral 2. And this is more of a pet peeve of mine. Before I get to that, let me back up one. And he mentioned it here. Recommending a contribution to the capital projects, the fund, because of bond rating. Now, I only know of one bond, 217B, and now I know we got the county sales tax, but I think that funding's pretty secure. So, was there some issue? Did you get a letter from the bond rating agency? What, is there something in writing that says it's at risk? Sir,
Okay.
you know?
Ms. Clifford, go ahead.
Mr. Donahue, first of all, the city has a number of bonds, so obviously you're most intimately familiar with the Riverside Village bonds, but there are utility bonds, and then also the city took out a bond for the public safety headquarters for $10.5 million in advance of the tax revenue in CPSD4 to get a jump start on that project.
Right.
And so back in the February, I believe, timeframe of this year, we had a financial presentation from our bond attorney or financial advisor that told us that we had slipped one notch in the overall bond ratings from, and the numbers escape me at the moment, but we took a downgrade from like a AAA 3 to the next bond layer down. And so ultimately, you know, we set a strategic goal within the city to reinforce our bond ratings because at some future date, we may want to borrow some additional funding when it comes to either CPSD 5 or through utility bonds or whatever else. And so ultimately, that bond rating was not derived from the concerns about Riverside Villages you have, but it has to do with the overall state of basically the savings account of the city.
I would think the $69 million would be the big one, but
Well, for
and
the,
the sewage is controlled by rates, right?
well, there's a couple different factors that go into that, but I'm
But
not
let's-
going to get into debate on utility bonds.
Why did the bonds go down? Why?
You can go back to the public hearing that we had, or the public session back in February, and pull the presentation.
Give me a short, abridged version.
Well, I don't have that handy
Oh,
right at this
okay.
second.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, but our rating is investment grade, and yeah, you'd have to pull it up that way.
Okay, I will. Thank you. I'm back on page Roman numeral 2, and I kind of feel like I'm in 1984 where they talked about newspeak. I don't know if you all read that novel where words took on different meanings, and they had the Department of Peace, which is actually Department of War. It's not quite that bad, but throughout this letter, talking about maintaining 73.5, maintaining. In fact, we're raising taxes. As you know, in South Carolina, we roll it back. If you're not allowed to ride the inflation curve. Every 5 years, reassessment. It was rolled back to 70.2. And you wrote the letter. You can't change it now, but I found that irksome. You know, Joe Sixpack down the street, he probably doesn't know all the ins and outs of South Carolina reassessment. You're not maintaining, you're raising. We're raising taxes. We're raising. We want to raise it. It's at 70.2. We're at 70.2. We need to raise. I find that irritating. Maybe you all don't. I do. I don't remember anybody on council running on a platform to raise taxes. I could be wrong. I didn't hear anybody saying, I'm running to raise taxes. That bothered me. I would hope I wouldn't see another letter like this. On page 3 of the letter to the council, we talked about 1 mil goes to $122,000. That's true. And we talked about growth and whatever, and you know, patting ourselves on the back, which is good. But in fact, the 14.3% is because we raised tax. 4.5, at least not quite 5% of that, is because we're raising taxes. Goes back to the terminology of the letter. I think you need to make it clear we're raising taxes. We're not maintaining anything. Okay, enough said about that. I'd like to go to page 11 of the budget. Administration. I see a department request of 541. And I noticed then there was a change of 14,700, which looks like it's on top of an inflationary increase, I'm guessing. What was that for? Do you know?
Tell me what page you're looking at.
Page 11 of the budget.
Okay.
We raised it 14,000 over and above. It already had a $21,000 increase. We're now, in addition to the 21,000, we raised it another 14,000. What was that for?
Let's see. I'm not,
I'm on page
Okay.
11 of the budget.
the actual budget, not the letter anymore. Okay,
Yes, sir,
thank
the
you.
actual
I'm
budget.
sorry. Thank you.
It's, it says general government, 2 lines down. You got city council and we got administration.
Okay, and go ahead
Went
now.
from 520 to 541, which is what was requested.
Okay.
Then the administration, I guess the administration submitted it, and the administration decided to up it for another 14,000. Do you know why?
Ms. Hayes, can you clarify that? Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, I think all of that, because we're going to be approving 4% cost of living, and that should be what that is.
Every other column's a negative, almost every other column. If you look at 520, the current budget, and you, I don't know, take 4% of that, it's about 20,000. You already got that into the request, 541. It plussed up another 14,000. I'm guessing it went to salaries. I don't know. Whose salary did it go to? Don't know. Okay.
I'll
Get,
find
I know, Mr. Mayor, you're pretty good at it. Could you get back to me on it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't have an answer for you right now, but I will.
All right, I'm on page 16 of the budget. I'm trying to go through this quickly. International City Council Managers Association, we got $6,000 going to that. I think it's for 2 members. They said the membership is $1,400 each. That's about another $3,000. You know what that's for?
That's usually for the ICMA conference, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
If I were, I don't know, city council, I just, something that sticks out of me, international, looks like a freebie trip to, I don't know, Munich, I don't know.
So for the council's edification, the ICMA is the Nationwide Association for City and County Managers. So I understand that international is in the job title, but there is no international travel associated with your staff
And
going
just-
anywhere.
Just for what it's worth, too, that's personal to the person who's the member. If they quit, that belongs to them, doesn't belong to the city. They have job things and they can improve your resume, and I know because I went on the website and looked at it. And I also looked at the budget, and I don't think we're buying bar dues for Mr. Zier or the judge, as far as I could tell. It's the equivalent of bar dues. I think you ought to look at that myself. I noticed we're adding the Associated U.S. Army membership. It's only $175. Found that odd. I mean, it wasn't in the last budget, but apparently someone thought it was important. Professional services, $265. We're going from $30,000 to $47,500. It's additional $17,500. It wasn't clear to me why. It looks like this economic development line was upped. Do you know why?
Are we on page 16? What page are we on?
16.
Okay.
Yeah, it's down near the bottom.
And what is
265 is the line item.
line item 265? Thank you.
Who's-
Which one is it? I'm sorry. The last one, economic
It
development?
went from 30,000 in the current budget to 47,500. That's a 17,500, and I think it's all in that economic development. The upper 2 items, I think, were the same from the year before. I don't know why. This seems pretty significant increase. Do you know why?
Let me let that breakdown
Mr. Mayor, in the interest of time, because we're at 10 minutes now, if Mr. Donahue would like to submit
I was
a,
about to say,
a letter of his
yeah,
concerns.
Thank you. You just answered my question. Here's the thing. If you've got, which is good, and I'm glad that you
Let me
broke
run
this
through it. I'll
down.
be done in 5 minutes.
Well, let me ask you this: if you, because I can tell you, you're going to ask us a number of these, and I may not have an answer for you. So what would be best to do is if you would email me.
I'm almost
what
done.
those are.
I'm almost
Okay.
done.
Well, again, if you're
I'm
looking for
going
an
to go to
answer-
page 30 of the budget. And the only thing I'll say there is, in 2020, the planning and development part was like 436,000. 2022, it's 879,000. I know you must have reasons, but that's over 100% increase in 2 years. Seems high to me. The last, maybe I'll cut it short, but apparently, like I said, I tried to do this in an informal setting,
Well, like
but
I
I was
said,
cut off.
if you will
That's
email
fine.
me everything, then I will give you a
I
response
want to
on
go to
every one
the
of those.
page 36. This is public safety. They have an item there on 224 as a line item. It's $120,000 for software maintenance. There's an asterisk there. Not needed if the CAD mapping and replacement is approved. My question is, that's equivalent of 1 mil. 120,000. If you don't need that money, are you going to refund that to the taxpayers? You know?
I can't answer that.
No?
Mr. Clifford?
No, the answer would be no, Mr. Donahue.
Say again?
The answer is no.
Not going to refund it, even though you don't use it?
Well, anything that goes into a budget line that is not executed in the year of the budget rolls into the capital projects fund.
Oh, nice. And one last, this is important, and I'll sit down because I know you don't want to hear it. I'm on the TIF item, the TIF fund. And there might be an explanation for this. Why aren't the school taxes reflected here? They collected in some other manner?
The answer is yes, they're not. They're collected in a different manner.
Are they showing up in the budget somewhere?
They do.
Say again?
I've been pretty clear. I said they do.
Where?
Well, why don't you email us the list and we'll pull the line items for
Tell
you.
me what you got.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you. All right, I'll sit down because I'm out of time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep,
And we'll get back those responses.
thank you.
Anyone else? Speak now, forever hold your peace. All right. All right. Any council discussion?
I just had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Jim, had Aiken County not reassessed the values of all the real estate in the county, our millage rate taxes would have remained exactly the same as last year, correct?
So to put this in perspective, Councilman, and I think we put this in the budget study session and also in the first reading, you know, the value of the mill has increased. And so if we rolled back the mill, that means your average homeowner would have the exact same tax bill the following year. What we did is locked in the current millage so that as the value of the millage increased, the overall tax burden slightly increases on the homeowner or the commercial entity.
Right, it's just, you know, with what Mr. Donahue said, we didn't raise the millage rate, it's everybody's home is now worth that much more at the same rate you make, it is more money. That's just,
I was going to respond to that at the next one, since
Right.
I should allow it at that point, but yes.
yes.
Well, he's not here to hear it, so it doesn't matter.
I'm going to
We
respond
sat
to
here
it.
for 30 minutes to listen to him.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? All right, I'll take a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 6, ordinance number 2021-18. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on second reading?
So moved.
First, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Presnell. Any need to add on that you haven't already?
No, Mr. Mayor, I think I covered it adequately in the first line, unless you had further questions.
Okay. Any citizen comments on this particular ordinance? I won't restate my comments I made at the first reading on the benefit of this. So if you want to hear my comments, you can go our live stream and listen to what I said last time, the benefits of why we're doing this. But I'm not going to repeat these tonight. So, all right, any other council discussion? All right, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. All right. Item number 7, ordinance number 2021-19. Do we have a motion to approve this ordinance on second reading? First,
Second.
Ms. McCauley, second, Mr. McGee. Thank you. Anything on that, Ms. Clifford?
No, sir.
All right, any citizen comments? Any council discussion? Okay, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? That is unanimous. All right, that is all of our unfinished business. We now move to new business. Item number 8, ordinance number 2021-20. Do we have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading? Ms. McCauley and Mr. President. Okay, what would you like to add on this, Ms. Clifford?
I may end up referring to Cammie Hayes to get me out of the deep end, but what you'd asked for, Mr. Mayor, was kind of an explanation of, the why, what is this doing, and we've had some previous discussions with this council on the business license requirements across the state, and there was an act that was passed in 2020. So on September 30th of last year, Governor McMaster signed legislation overhauling the state's business license tax system, and effective January 1st of 2022, the legislation simplifies South Carolina's business license tax compliance requirements by establishing a standard business license tax application, uniform classification schedule, and centralized tax filing and payment portal for use by each taxing jurisdiction across the state. So bottom line is municipalities and counties across the state had different standards, and so there was movement from both the business community and also from MASC, the Municipal Association of South Carolina, to advocate for cleaner lines so that a business that operated in multiple municipalities had some consistency in the way that they operated. And so what we're doing and putting here before you all today for the first reading is to revise or adopt a revised business license ordinance according to that Standardization Act. And so we've had some other actions before the council that had to do with revocation of previous ordinances and moving the business tax year into a new way. But this is also a requirement for us to be in compliance with South Carolina state law come January 1st of 2022.
Okay. Any citizen comments? Okay. Any council discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we are item 10, which is presentations, communication, recognition of visitors. So this is an opportunity for any citizens who have anything on their mind that does not include what we just went over. If they'd like to come forward, this is their opportunity. Oh, yes. I don't think we had any. I'll check that. All right, I'll go back. Our city attorney keeps me straight. Any administrative reports? I did bypass that.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I've got 4 items for myself that I'll end with. So before I do that, this is an opportunity. There's no citizen comments. Any council discussion? Pat? Okay.
I just got one thing.
Yep.
Just remind everybody that North Augusta will host Beaufort in the playoffs Friday. This Friday.
North Augusta High School,
Yeah,
and it's football.
that's correct.
It's here. We're hosting here.
We're at
Okay.
home. We got one game at home. Is it Bluffton, Beaufort? One of them. They're close. I mean, they're what, 5 miles apart, 10.
Okay, what I do have something.
I knew you did, that's why,
No,
I
I'm
knew
sorry.
it.
No, I
paused.
just want to praise Miss Avery back there for that wonderful fall festival she put on this weekend in downtown North Augusta. And I called her personally today. Oh, is this a committee? Well, y'all, I'm sorry, I should have, well, I was in your business though, but I didn't realize it. But thank y'all so much. That was absolutely wonderful, wonderful.
You sure? Okay. Anybody else? All right, I've got 4 things. First of all, this is now posted on our website, and we will, but I wanted to let you know, communication has been a big deal for this council. And communication needs to be a big deal, not just for adults, but for all citizens, no matter their age. So we are implementing a youth drawing and writing contest, and it'll be called the Mayor's First Annual Youth Drawing and Writing Contest. So 1st through 4th grade students from each of our public, private, and home schools in the city of North Augusta are invited. And I've already reached out to all the principals, so they're all involved with this. But they'll submit a drawing to illustrate the theme, what superpower does the mayor of the city of North Augusta need? And what we'll do is we will put all those down the Arts and Heritage Center the weekend of the tour of homes, and it'll be a great opportunity for kids. So, and then our students 5th through 12th grade will write an essay, if I were mayor of the city of North Augusta, what would I do to make the city a better place to live? And we will have a contest, and those students in those grades that are chosen will be invited to our last city council meeting in December to be recognized by this council. And here's the thing. I think it's important in this day and age, with everything we see nationally about government, that one, we let our young youth understand that, hey, you know what, no matter if I'm in 5th grade or 6th grade, I can have a voice in what can make our community better. And the second thing is, I think we can start framing a conversation with our youth and our children that, there are actually good things that local government can do and are doing, and not everything they hear and read about has to be negative. So I think it's very positive. I'm very thankful for this council for being excited about that and supporting that endeavor. So if you have children out there, you ought to be getting something from them about it. So I just want to get that out there. I think that'll be a great opportunity. Second thing, our Veterans Day event will be November the 11th. Our own city administrator, Mr. Jim Clifford, retired Colonel Clifford, will be speaking at that event. And for folks who want to participate, who want to attend, our trolley will be running that day. You've got to get to the Legion Hut, but we'll have a trolley that will be going to the Legion Hut, picking folks up and bringing them to the Veterans Day event. That's on November the 11th, it's a Thursday, and take you back. The third thing is, it's never too early to promote this. Our Christmas tree lighting will be on Tuesday, November the 30th at 6 p.m. That's going to be a wonderful event. I believe, I'm not sure if did the city have it last year? Did we have it with COVID? We did? Okay, good. Okay. Anyway, so anyone's ever been there, it'll be a great time. So I want to get the word out on that. We'll keep hitting that at the study sessions too. But, yes, ma'am?
Somewhere today, November 3rd, 5 or 6:30. So is it 6?
Well, the lighting is always done at around 6, but we have the Boy Scouts at 5 serving cocoa. We have got, the reality is most people get there early. There'll be all kinds of events. Is that right, Rick? Okay. And then what's great is after that ends at 7, the downtown merchants, I'm glad y'all are here, they're having their cocoa cookie crawl. So great opportunity. You got families in the park, and then people can migrate down into our downtown. The merchants are going to be open. There's going to be all kinds of action. So that is going to be a great way to end the month of November as we lead into the Christmas holiday. So I just want to get that out there. And the last thing that we just came out is the Living History Park. They're having, and I don't know if they've done this in the past, but it's called Christmas in the Backcountry on November the 27th and November 28th from 10 to 5. On the 27th and November 28th from 10 to 4, and we'll get this out on our social media. but it's a walkthrough at the Living History Park. So that'll be a beautiful opportunity. All the buildings and shops will be open. They'll have all kinds of things for folks. So anyway, a lot going on. I just want to get that, end that on a positive note.
Now, I want to know if Sheila's going to have apple fritters at the tree lighting. Okay, so before we adjourn, we'll move into, I will be asking for a motion for this, for an executive session in compliance with Section 30-4-70. The mayor requests an executive session for the purpose of discussion, negotiations, incident to propose contractual arrangements and proposed sale or purchase of property, the receipt of legal advice where the legal advice relates to a pending, threatened, or potential claim or other matters covered by the attorney-client privilege, settlement of legal claims, the position of the public agency, and other adversary situations involving the assertion against the agency of claim. This discussion is related to a potential hiring of a consultant, and we will not be taking any action on this after this meeting, and our meeting will be, when I adjourn, we're done. Is everybody clear on that? Is that correct? Okay. So, gotta have a motion to go into executive session? Okay, second. Who was the second?
Me.
Mr. Toole.
Me.
Okay.
Don't you know me?
All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. And with that, we stand adjourned.